Welcome to Net Front Presence. I'm Matt DeFranks of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, joined by Nathan Mills, also of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, to talk about the Blues and an odd week, I would say. They won a couple games. They beat Edmonton on Monday. They beat Buffalo on Thursday night. Mixed in there is potentially the worst loss of the season on Wednesday in Washington, a 6-1 loss to the Capitals. All in all, they exit the week kind of with mixed feelings. Nathan, what's your take on the Blues this past week?
Yeah, so the game against Edmonton, I thought was, the first period was a little rough, but then after that, I thought those second two periods were probably the best two periods of hockey I've seen them play all season. Thought, oh, here we go, here's the turnaround, right? And then they go to Washington and nope, no turnaround. I think it's a really this week has been a really good kind of microcosm, just a really good example of what how unstable the Blues have been this season, kind of top to bottom.
Yeah, and that Edmonton game, you kind of had the feeling of, oh my goodness, here we go again. They come into the game, they've lost seven in a row. They fall behind 2-0. It seems like another one of those games where the bounces aren't going their way. Edmonton's getting a bounce here or there. I mean, it just didn't seem like it was. It seemed like it was a continuation. They're going to lose their eighth game in a row. It's going to be the same old story that maybe they played better than the opposition, but there's another L in the standings. And at that point, I'm not sure how much the process matters when you lose eight in a row. I mean, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, you hope that the process matches the results. And that's one of the things that makes Jim Montgomery a process-oriented coach. But when you're in it and when you're seeing it day to day, you see them lose seven in a row. You see them down 2-0 to the two-time defending Western Conference champions. And you're like, well, it doesn't matter how well they look on the ice. It doesn't matter how good they look. It's just about getting that W and, good for the Blues and showing some resiliency. They got Robert Thomas back for that Edmonton game. Dalibor Dvorsky, we're going to talk about him a little bit later. He scores his first NHL goal, and they get a big win. But after that Washington game just seems like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was ugly. I didn't get to watch the game because it's on TNT and I don't have TNT, so I got to get the Post Dispatch to get me a subscription to that bad boy. But I watched the highlights after, and even in the highlights, man, they look lost. I mean, it looked like they weren't prepared at all. They look slow. They look sluggish. I mean, it looked like a completely different team on the ice from what we saw in Edmonton, at least in the second two periods, and that has. I love Jim Montgomery. I think he's a great coach, but it concerns me that it feels like they're constantly not prepared, and it kind of seems like that's a trend here, or maybe not prepared, but maybe it's confidence. I don't know, but there's clearly something missing here.